Friends, if you're looking for real old school laughs, you're in for a treat because we've got them right here. Flip City Magazine. Remember Mad Magazine? Then it went woke? Well, don't worry. Flip City has no chance of going woke. That's right. 4 times a year, you'll get an actual printed magazine full of jokes, stories, comics, and more, all about today's pop culture, entertainment, and woke politics. Flip City takes terrible entertainment trends we love to hate with hilarious parodies of Lord of the Rings, Stranger Things, The Walking Dead, Star Trek, Hunters, and more. Trust me when I say there is nothing else like Flip City on the market. So subscribe today. It will be delivered in print, or you can even get it digitally if you're one of those wacky Zoomers. Either way, follow our link and sign up today, and if you put in midnight, you get an extra 10% off. Check out Flip City Magazine today.
It's morning in some places. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, whatever it is where you is. I am Tom Connors. We have with us the boss man, Andre.
Greetings, everyone, and happy Friday, everyone. Or at least I hope it is for most.
Friday the 13th.
It is. So it's a pretty bad day, all in all. Some people have happy memories, but yeah, it's Friday. And Friday the 13th. Let's not celebrate too much. Just keep cool and have fun and forget about the rest of the world for a moment.
Sure. And we also have with us Script Doctor.
Hey, happy to be here.
And Mr. Paul Chato, who's probably still away. He's still away. Culture Casino.
Hello, everybody, and good day. I hope it's great for all of you. I hope you enjoy this Friday.
Glad to have you guys here with us today. We also have people joining us in the chat. Hit that like button. Share out the link. Let everybody know we're live. We got Waltman here who says, it's official. The CMA has approved of the Microsoft Activision merger. So by next week, Microsoft will officially own Activision, Blizzard, and King Games. Well, if I actually cared about gaming, this might mean something to me. So somebody's going to have to explain why this is a big deal other than Monopoly.
Okay. Yeah,
I think it's just a further downgrade of the quality of that brand now.
Yeah. And also, Tom, you hit on it right away with Monopoly. I believe that this is exactly what the genre of cyberpunk was trying to warn us against, the mega corporations that offer new government and stuff. This is just like one more step in that direction. So
I say I'm not a gamer, so he uses a game as a reference point.
Well, I meant the genre, not so much the game. You think I've ever played cyberpunk?
Okay, let's use a movie reference. It's the Tyrell Company from Blade Runner.
Yeah, there you go.
You use a movie that only weebs watch. Thanks, Script.
You don't watch Blade Runner?
I've seen it like 3 times. It's overrated as fuck.
Ridley Scott is story-wise, it's kind of lacking, but visually and performance-wise.
Yeah, well, yeah, you watch the first 10 minutes and you're good.
Yeah, if one takes a very shallow perspective, I would agree.
Oh, okay. They're saying it's what RoboCop. Now you're talking my language.
Yeah.
Okay, it's OCP.
Yes, it's OCP. Yeah, there you go. OCP. They sorted out as Microsoft. So yeah, there we go. Now we're.
Why didn't you say that in the first place?
We will keep that in mind for the next time Microsoft makes a massive acquisition, or Google or something like that. But so yeah, OCP is becoming real with the Microsoft Activision merger.
OCP runs the cops.
Yeah. Yes, Bill Gates will eventually be the old man.
Yeah, that day can't come soon enough. I mean, they're already involved.
Hi, welcome back.
Speaking of the old man, he kind of looks like the old man from RoboCop.
I look more like John Lithgow.
Yeah, there it is.
I can see that. Yeah.
Dead's
Can you do the salute from Third Rock from the Sun? No, it's where he has to slap his forehead and then he moves the hand around. And
I forgot. Yeah. I want to play John Lithgow's brother in a movie. That's what I want.
Oh, it could be the sequel to Buckaroo Banzai.
Oh yeah, that would be great. Are they going to do it?
No.
Professor Lizardo. Yes, everyone. Hey, my big booty here. Yeah, I'm so happy. I love that movie.
It's
a great one.
Movie at some point. But
all right.
so
well, anyway, on the subject of the because now that Paul's back here, he may have something to say about this.
Yeah, are you excited about Microsoft having acquired Activision?
I'm not happy with consolidation at this level now in any of the entertainment industry. I don't think we need Universal buying Disney or whatever, or Warner Brothers. This is terrible. I mean, Activision became just a horrifically horrible company actually 10 years ago. And I don't see how consolidation is going to help any of these entertainment industries. And part of the problem too is the AAA games have become so expensive to produce. They're taking longer to produce. The stakes are way higher. They're all being introduced filled with bugs. And then you've got the day one bug patch. It's a mess. The gaming industry is a mess. And I don't think this is helpful.
All right. Well, thank you for that, Paul. We got STR Red Wolf, who says Axios report that Taylor Swift's concert movie has sold out in AMC and other theaters. Tweeted article to you and Tom and Andre. At least it'll help theaters stay afloat. Yeah, this show, movie, whatever you want, concert movie, whatever you want to call it, kicking ass. It had one screening last night, a surprise screening. I think it was Culture, and it made almost $3 million just in one surprise screening.
What?
Yeah. So this thing is going to knock the boots off of everything, and then Beyonce is going to come in with the 1-2 punch in December.
Yeah,
it's going to
then another female
singer
too.
Like real quick, the actor strike. I think that this was a particularly bad time to reject that deal. I don't know the details of what they were offered and everything.
Oh, there's no deal presented. That's the problem. The studios walked away.
Yeah, and here you have this movie right here showing so very clearly we don't really need the actors.
Well, it's a different genre, and Rihanna is doing the same thing now too. Rihanna.
Well, that'll help solve her tax problems. But I have to say, I admire all these incredibly oppressed women for their billion-dollar tours right now. Just the man really holding them down, just keeping them right in those $1 billion of economic value for somebody like Taylor Swift. Wow, she's just struggling to survive at this point, and going to theaters is amazing. No, honestly, over $100 million in pre-sales. I think I have a strong feeling that this will be the biggest blockbuster of the year, and it will put all of the studios to shame for good reason. Congratulations!
You think it's going to beat Barbie?
I think it can, even with the short window that it has. I think that this is consider this. This was getting people to pay. This particular tour was getting people to pay $5,000 and $6,000 for a ticket from scalpers, because it was one of the hottest tickets out there. It's what inspired another investigation into Ticketmaster, Live Nation, et cetera, et cetera. This is a cultural phenomena, and we'll have to see. This first weekend will tell us everything we need to know. But hey, at least it's doing better than a superhero film.
Mm-hmm.
Well, how much did it cost to produce? The margin is going to be brilliant on it.
Oh, I don't know. She actually, I think, footed the bill for most of it. Her own production company. I mean, this is basically her, and
she is a very good businesswoman.
Well, yeah. I mean, apparently, if you sleep with lots of dudes who have business acumen, it kind of comes over you in osmosis in some way.
Well, I mean, her father is a fairly successful businessman. I mean, he purchased the label that signed his daughter. He purchased the label, and then the label signed his kid, and then she belted out all these hit songs.
Well, and no guy is dating her now because that's on penalty of writing a song about him if it breaks up. So,
well, wait a minute. There's a football
she's dating
player.
a football player right now.
Here in the States. Yeah.
I feel badly for him. It's going to be a horrendous song.
She's going to have some sort of like field goal hit coming out in a year time or something about some sort of football parody.
The feel good field goal or
the relationship was like a halftime show, once a year, and then you're done.
Right. He punted me.
Oh boy.
Right in the punt.
Oh well, hey now. I can't say that on television.
Hey, I don't know where that came from. I talked with AZ once, and then my mind gets fried. AZ. So,
Az?
Yeah, that's right.
You talked to Az?
I have.
Okay. He speaks better English than you do.
Yes, he does. Yes, he does. He's a unique talent.
Indeed, we have to appreciate our talents, like Taylor Swift and more. And Dr. Long Dongler says for £5, hail Andre, Tom, guests, wrenches, and chat. Missing the live stream because I'm still at work.
Oh,
catch
bummer.
the replay later. Oh, well, as long as you catch it, and thanks for helping sharing it on Twitter, which is something Dr. Long Dongler always does. He helps share these streams, and we really, really appreciate that. On that note, everyone, please smash that like. And if you can be so kind as to help us share the stream, that would be most awesome, because that's something that this platform doesn't really do. And we do have quite the show for you today, because we have done many, many Friday streams covering Disney's Week of Hell that preceded the Friday. But this one is different, because this is the Week of Hell where the media turned on Bob Iger. That doesn't always happen. So please smash that like, help share this stream so we get that word out there. We're about to get into that soon here.
Chad St. John says, hey, I saw a guy wearing a hockey mask with a really long knife walking around. Wonder what he was up to.
Funny timing on the Friday. Absolutely. And then Ken Rayhard says
Jason
for
gotta
$2. I remember when Activision meant great Atari games. Oh yeah, those were the days. That's been a while.
Sort of,
but I do believe that Chato probably remembers those days.
Oh yeah, I mean that was so much more fun, and the games were unique. And now everything is running off of some Unreal Engine, and everything is super realistic. And the days of Dig Dug and all those other fun, silly games are gone.
I thought you were going to wax poetic about Pong, but that's fine.
No, not so much. Zaxxon.
Zaxxon.
I'll wax poetic about Zaxxon.
I have an old Spider-Man Activision game that would be fun to play again.
It's pretty lame.
It was fun at the time, but times have moved on a little.
Like a 25-year-old game, yeah.
It's basically Pitfall with red suit.
Frogger Killed. That was awesome.
Frogger was fun. I will give you that.
Dude, I hated that game. Because you did? You'd get like 20, 25 levels up and
Oh, insane.
Yeah.
That is life. It was a simile for life.
That was life during the Atari days.
Yep.
Yeah. And then Mr. Tickle Trunk says for $2 Canadian, 15 hours left for Island in the Stars, 95% funded. Yes, this is indeed accurate. You will recall a couple of weeks ago, actually 1 month ago, we had Tom Konkle on the show, and he talked about his next movie, which is to be crowdfunded, namely Island in the Stars. If you need a reminder for that, the clip will be up inside the next 20 minutes on Midnight's, let's say half an hour, on Midnight's Edge live archives. But as a brief reminder, it's steampunk. It looks absolutely amazing. It's 95% there. We need only $3,000 more. If you can chip in a little bit and you haven't done so already, then the link to do so is in the description. So yeah, consider doing that over the course of the show. And Tycho TMA1. Oh, I do love that username. That's a deep reference right there. Says for $2. You forgot the H in where in reference to this title. Yeah, I noticed that it's already been amended. You may not be able to see it right away. You may have to reload, but it is fixed. But thank you so much for the reminder. And Tycho TMA1, that's Tycho Magnetic Anomaly 1, also meaning the monolith from 2001: A Space Odyssey, says, my dad recently got a 1-up arcade machine with 14 Namco games. Before that, he got the machine for both Tron arcade games. Oh, nice.
14 games. What kind of sorcery is this, and where do I get it?
Uh-oh. Probably Walmart.
All mine only have like a couple games on them. Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Tom, why don't I just build you a emulator?
Why don't you build me a house?
It's not the same. Yeah, it probably would be better to buy a house or build a house so that you can fit more arcade 1-up machines in there.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Well, what we need is a screening room in the basement, and then the lobby would be filled up with the arcade machines, like you would enter the lobby at the theater. You know.
Yeah. And speaking of business people, 200 Watt Studio says for $5, Taylor's boyfriend, his best move in bed was an offside kick.
Oh boy.
Ooh. Yeah. Their love was a penalty. There we
go. That's why Script is the writer.
And you didn't hit the goal.
Yeah.
Oh my.
I could write a bunch of Taylor Swift songs. They're easy.
Yeah. But we'll do so later because we have to get on with the show here. And to get us started here, John Doe says for $5, Chato saw the Frasier reboot. They took your writing advice. There's even a furniture-based joke in the second episode. No destructive woke so far. Yeah, I know that Chato, you've seen at least some of it, and Script, you've seen all of the Frasier reboot. What's your thoughts on the episodes? Can we have your thoughts before we move into Loki and then the Disney stuff after that?
Sure. Frasier it holds on to what made Frasier Frasier. I actually wrote a little bit about it on my Patreon yesterday. James Burrows, the man who pretty much directed all of Cheers and also kind of headlined the original Frasier, is back to set up this one, and I think he kept the first 2 episodes on course. I enjoyed them what they were. They actually have some jokes. It's not a joke a minute, as some people would like, but it also has some heart to it as well, and it is very respectful of the characters. They're not humiliating Frasier in the way that is unfamiliar to how Frasier normally gets humiliated. And I think it's a good direction so far. I'm looking forward to the 3rd episode, and hopefully it doesn't go off the rails.
All right, yeah, cool. And Paul, how about you? What's your thoughts on it so far?
First of all, I think it pays tribute to the power of Kelsey Grammer's star qualities and goodwill on screen. You really do like him, and that's a very big part of the success of any show, is that you've got to like the characters. I honestly so far like his nephew way better, Niles's kid, over his son. I think son, whatever the relationship he has with him, is kind of cheap and brutalistic. It's not obvious, and obvious isn't the right word, but I think that could have been done. That's the worst part of it for me so far. Yeah, I agree with Script Doctor. It feels like a Frasier script. Frasier scripts are always something that when some young writer approached me and I said, either do Golden Girls or Frasier scripts, because they have mechanical elements to it. Frasier, you just pull out a Sotheby's guide to the latest things that are being sold there, and then you could write a show around antiques. And Golden Girls is just old women talking really dirty. So you got lots of stuff with that. And yeah, so it really felt like Frasier. I think there was exposition at the beginning that was not necessary about his son, failing out of Harvard and things like that. But it was, it was well handled. That's that kind of stuff you can find out, when the characters actually get together and talk about it. It's not necessary to set it up. James Burrows' touch is there. It looks like a show. It looks like a sitcom. I was a bit annoyed at the amount of laugh track. I think they could have toned that right down. I found it obnoxious.
Was the laughter earned, or was it like obviously contrived? Like they were laughing, but it wasn't even remotely funny.
Well, again, the problem with the laugh track is that joke is funny. That was earned. That joke's not funny. Why is there a laugh? I mean, so it's a beauty. A laugh track is in the ear of the beholder, I guess. If something is genuinely funny, then you're laughing with the laugh track. So it's you can really tell at the very end, the last few seasons of The Big Bang Theory, where it's like every line, like someone had to cut off the thumb of that guy who was running the laugh track machine.
Well, they had to keep hitting it because they no longer were funny.
They
hadn't been funny. Yeah, they hadn't been funny since season 4 in Big Bang Theory, and the reason why is because they were just too mean to each other. It went from being, a bunch of geeks struggling with the outside world with one female, love interest.
You actually hit the nose right on, or the nail on the nose right there. That's what the problem was. It wasn't so much they were mean to each other. It was the fact that you have a bunch of geeks who now have fucking girlfriends. That's the fucking problem. Yeah. Where normally that should be the whole fucking show, is these guys can't figure out how to get girlfriends.
Well, let's not get into too much of a tangent there. But I mean,
I hate that show because it had a great premise to begin with, and then they fucked it up.
And I will mention again, I think I mentioned before, the writing skyrocketed when they introduced the girlfriend. So from a network exec perspective, they did the right thing. From a fan of the show perspective, I think they did the wrong thing. So,
well, Penny was fine. It was getting all of them a girlfriend. That was no,
but that's when the show skyrocketed in ratings. I'm not.
This is true.
Up.
Can't be argued.
I mean, at the same time, but okay. So at the same time, they introduced all the chicks.
Made him friends. That's why.
Well, sure, but no. What they did is they changed the entire show. It became the chicks leading the guys around by the nose.
Yep.
The subservient geek to the woman. That's what that became.
So you lost great.
You drove a female audience to what was a pretty well balanced, or male centric show, depending upon your perspective.
I'm not arguing with you.
Yeah, and so while it did have commercial success in the form of generating commercials, right now it's entirely unwatchable after season.
I agree. Yeah. I'm in complete agreement with you. I mean, I remember the one really amazing joke where who's the astronomer?
Koothrappali.
No, not Koothrappali.
He's the astrophysicist.
Oh yes. So the guy who
he's talking about Tyson or whatever.
The guy who designed the
engineer, Howard.
The engineer,
Howard.
Howard.
Yeah.
Howard.
He designed the other character.
He designed the rover, the Mars rover.
Yeah, Howard.
And to pick up a girl, he said, would you like to operate the Mars rover?
Oh, he didn't design it. He was merely there controlling the camera, and he abused it.
Oh, okay. Anyways, I thought, see, that's the kind of thing, picking up a girl, promising that they can, drive the Mars rover.
That was hilarious.
Yeah. See, that was where the show.
We lost those kinds of jokes. Anyways, back to Frasier. Just finishing it off. I believe I completely agree with Script that this really does feel like a proper Frasier, and I was kind of impressed. So
now you guys are going to have to make me go watch the original show. I never got into it so much.
I've seen episodes, but good. I mean, the original show for Frasier, it captured the spirit of that character within the Cheers universe, essentially.
He was always like one of my least favorite characters on Cheers, though. That was the problem.
True,
but that may be. But the Frasier series, it's a.
And I get it. Everybody liked it. I watched a few episodes. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it. I'm just like, it was like of all the characters on Cheers, they could have done a spinoff. To me, like that was the least. But I understand why they did it.
And well, again, TV is all about what is called the Q score. is how much the audience loves the character. And Kelsey Grammer has a very high Q score. So
Yes.
that is enough to bring an audience in. I'm trying to think of another one with a very high. James Garner had it.
Michael Dorn had it for Star Trek. They brought him from Next Gen to Deep Space Nine.
Yeah,
and
I wouldn't be surprised.
It definitely increased ratings for Deep Space Nine as a
And
result.
one of the people with the highest rating was Urich. What was the first guy's? What is his first name? Urich.
Bob Urich?
No. He was in all sorts of detective shows. Anyways, he had in my era, had the highest Q score. Anyway, so yeah, I was quite surprised. It was way better than the trailer. The trailer was horrific, but they might actually pull this off.
Oh yeah, no, the audience is saying Robert Urich.
Robert, what did you say? Bob?
I said Bob. Sorry.
Robert.
Every time I think of Robert, I always think of Bob.
I have no idea who that is.
See, we're talking TV there, Andre.
Yeah.
Network TV. So yeah, I think
changed.
Kelsey Grammer really pulled this off.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like his son. What do you think of his son?
That might change in the if you see the second episode, that might change.
Okay.
I will say there's a nice callback to what Frasier did with. I'm not going to go any further than that. There's just a very nice callback.
What did you think of the nephew? Is he in the second show?
Yes, David is there. I think he's clever. I'm a little disappointed they made him far more intellectual, because the nightmare that Niles had in the previous series was that he was going to be too much like a Moon, an obnoxious, drunk British person.
Oh.
So
yeah,
I'm curious to see if there's going to be, like, if he starts drinking, he will turn that direction, because that would be very funny.
Okay. This is the nephew you're talking about.
Yes, this is the nephew, because if you remember Daphne's brothers, they were all kind of criminals and alcoholics.
Right.
And if I'm in the writer's room there, I'm like, you got to get this kid drunk. We got to see how he behaves and how that could actually horrify Frasier. Because David Hyde Pierce and, oh my God, I'm spacing on the name who played Daphne. But they're not returning. They've expressed no desire to return. So.
And what about Niles? I guess he's not.
That's David Hyde. That's David Hyde Pierce. He doesn't want to come.
And honestly,
that is unfortunate.
It's unfortunate, but it's logical, because then it won't be a different show. It's got to be an adjacent Frasier show, or it's not going to work.
No, I disagree with that. I mean, just look at Picard. They used the exact same reasoning. This was Picard and not another season of Star Trek: The Next Generation.
I think that
it failed miserably because of it, right up until until season 3, when it became the Next Generation reunion, which it should have been all the time, and that's when fans loved it. But
that's a little different, because Frasier's supposed to be his life outside of Cheers. And now what they're doing here is they're doing Frasier's life outside of Seattle. And what made the first Frasier successful is that it wasn't being too dependent on Cheers. They're trying to have fun with the characters and relationships. Picard failed because they weren't having any fun. It was dark, dour, and depressing. Frasier, I think I'm hoping the success for this one is the fact that he's in this another stage of his life where Frasier is basically a senior citizen. He is in the position where his father was when he reunited with his father in the first season. And I think there's no reason for having cameos from the previous series, whether it be previous Frasier and, of course, Cheers, popping in. But I don't think they should be as heavily involved, because that takes away from the adventure that's focused around the Frasier character.
Honestly, I think this is a better challenge and opens up the Frasier universe better. That's my thought.
Mm-hmm.
What about the Frasier multiverse?
And on that note, Tom, let us move straight.
Forget about Frasier. We're done with Frasier.
Series, which came out today with a new episode, which does relate very specifically to the multiverse, namely episode 2 of Loki. Who here had the chance to see that?
I did.
Yeah, and so did I. So, gentlemen, what did you think of episode 2?
Why don't you go first?
Evolving in the right direction.
Why don't you go first this time, Andre?
Okay, sure. I would say that for the begin, right until like I thought it was like, as you can hear, I have mixed feelings. I thought it was like unnecessarily convoluted, and up until the beginning, and then they're looking for this escaped hunter, and then I was actually frustrated. I was like thinking, okay, this is a very different character than what Loki was, but has this dude completely forgotten that he is Loki, the god of mischief? This guy, he's a god. He doesn't have to run after a dude in the streets of London in the 70s, go panting and wheezing and struggling with catching up to the guy. He's a freaking god. He has more stuff at his disposal. So I was about ready to check out there and then. And then it turned out, oh, the writers, they remembered, oh, shit, this is Loki. And then they actually made him Loki for a little while. And then they forgot that he was Loki again, and they just made it a convoluted mess. A Loki that struggles to get information out of people when not billions, but trillions of people are on the line, and he can't get information out of someone without resorting to some trickery because he can't get rough. I was like, it's better than season 1. I was more frustrated at this point in season 1, but I felt that this episode was pretty much filler. It didn't really push anything forward. It was just techno-babble after techno-babble in a way that would have made Star Trek Voyager jealous. I don't really get what the problem is, what the hell they're going on about. Oh, this is so bad. So dude, this is the nature of the universe. So what's so freaking bad here? Like, I don't get it. They haven't communicated to me what the problem is. I'm watching and I don't get what's going on. Yeah, my gist of the episode. Oh yeah, and this was also the episode where female Loki returned. I'd rather have her just stay away because she was more unlikable and less interesting and more frustrating than ever. Yeah, no, I'm this middle-aged woman and I just want to work at McDonald's. Leave me alone. This is my best life. It was a frustrating watch. And it's still the highlight of Marvel on Disney Plus, which says more about Marvel on Disney Plus than it does Loki. But we'll get back to that. So yeah, Chato, what did you think?
Well, I love Tom Hiddleston. I could watch him forever. And other than that, there wasn't much else to recommend the show. It really staggers me just how good an actor he is. I was utterly gobsmacked at the sequence where he and Owen were fiddling around with the device. And I'm thinking, why are these two high-level individuals and Loki, of all people, who I'm sure did not go to DeVry to learn how to do IT repair.
I forgot about DeVry.
is screwing around with, I think there's a DeVry in the States, isn't there?
Are you mocking DeVry?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
And there he is with a jeweler's screw, screwing around with some device. Like, when in Loki's entire overt did he ever fix anything? Like, it was the dumbest moment. That was like, I'll call that a writing of convenience moment. Like that needs to go to short.
It needs to go to OB,
in which they did. They tried, and then there was the other guy who was capable of doing it also.
Mm-hmm.
And he came
they
up
should
with
have
him.
flipped that scene where it was Owen Wilson trying to put together the temp thing and Loki trying to read the manual, because that makes more sense.
It makes way more sense. But even then, they're too high level to be screwing around with that kind of stuff. There could have been a way to write it that one of the two geeks that they have available takes ownership of doing it. Because the other geek I actually like. He's a very funny guy. Very likable guy. So other than that, the extended torture sequence with the guy they captured was ridiculous. And the main problem is I'm not feeling emotionally connected to all the millions of people who have died due to the fact that their threads have been blown up. And I'm still not entirely sure what that Scottish woman was doing and how she got her minions and why is she blowing up all those threads and killing all those people. I'm still confused. So I'm in the confused camp with.
Yeah, I was lost for most of this episode. So, it felt like filler. They wasted a good chunk of it on that Brad Wolf guy. Whose name sounds very familiar. I'm pretty sure he's someone in the comics of Marvel, but I'm not 100%. And it was really just kind of a distraction over getting the plot moving.
And Obi didn't have the password available to do something. He needed the password to connect with the thing that he repaired, but it was, the original designer.
Yes.
Has to.
So this seems to have been a very long episode to set up the fact that they need to get a variant of Kang.
Right.
It was 42 minutes of them telling us we need to, essentially at the end, telling us we need to get a
Kang variant.
So, but you know what? Thinking about it, you are right. This was 42 minutes spent saying something that should have been communicated in 42 seconds in the previous episode.
And why did we need Mrs. Loki to join Loki to attack this gang of miscreants, the people who went AWOL? Why do we need her?
They're searching for her, had no setup for a payoff.
Nothing.
The answer to that, without even watching it, Paul, is political ideology.
There you go.
Yeah.
So in the old days, you would write action sequence ensues. Now they write in the script political ideology ensues, and then they figure it all out later.
You're probably right. That's a scary thing.
That is the scary thing. That was a terrible scene with the McDonald's. And then at the very end, the young guy trying to pick her up. Like, dear Lord, dude, she's 30 years older than you.
Yeah. Not only that, the actual part where Owen Wilson is talking about how delicious the McDonald's food was also made me laugh.
I was also thinking, there we have the sponsor of the episode.
Oh, no, it's the sponsor of the whole season.
But that's an Owen Wilson joke. That's part of who he is. Even like, it doesn't matter what movie he's in. Like, that's a nice Owen archetype.
Is he Canadian?
No.
Oh, okay. Well, he seems Canadian.
Well, he has that kind of way of talking.
Yeah, but Canada will not be blamed for him.
Nope. No. And for instance, the McDonald's pies that we had up here, I mean, it would be a bonus if there was any actual fruit in it. You'd cut it open and then you go, oh, it's just goop.
It's sugar.
Just sugar goop. But man, it was a great way to burn the top of the palate of your mouth.
Yeah, the hard palate.
Oh man, had to be careful.
You could actually peel off the skin afterwards, right?
Yes, you could.
Yeah. Well, by the way, that goop we here in the States call jelly. I mean, you might be familiar with that.
It was unique. I remember one of us actually got a cherry and went, holy man, let's split it between the three of us.
You found a piece of cherry.
That's right. Yeah.
Sadly, this episode was a waste of time. They spent so long on trying to reinvigorate the mischievous aspect of Loki, only for him to abandon it. The torture thing went on way too long.
Yeah. Although that segment was brought to you by Hoover Vacuum.
Hoover or Henry Vacuums, one of the two.
But isn't Hiddleston amazing? I find him mesmerizing.
Captivating. Yeah.
Like, what would the show be without him? What a waste. At some level, as an actor, you with that level of intellect, you must be reading the script and going, okay, it's just a paycheck.
I think at that point,
I feel badly. I mean, people say, "Oh, how do you feel badly? He's getting a lot of money and blah blah blah." But I mean, actors don't always think about the money. They want to
Well,
do
he
the work.
already has the money. What he wants is a challenge and respect as an actor, and this isn't doing that. I think
He is exec producer on it, which, as script knows, means nothing. But,
Yeah, it's basically gives him another check,
Right.
essentially at this point.
Yeah,
it looks great. The show looks. It's the best Marvel TV show. The look.
Well, it's the aesthetic, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's been the conversation we had last week when we were talking about it. And I would say this. I said they had two shows that were as aesthetically perfect. The first one was the first one they did, which was the WandaVision show. And until they got to the third or fourth episode, when that fell off a cliff,
yeah,
it was very cool.
Yep, I agree.
But because you could have the two-dimensional world of television, and it worked. In this, and again, I'm just basing it off the first episode because I have not yet seen this episode, which is why I'm being quiet, except to make jokes, at your expense.
That's fine.
But the aesthetic of this show has always been top notch. I mean, it is delivered visually. It just hasn't done so in the story, at least, up to the
it's Soviet era nuclear power station
70s.
Equipment.
Yeah, late 60s, early 70s. With some other tech mixed in that is unexpected, but
yeah,
it's
big,
beautiful.
bulky, analog fun, that type of stuff. Yep.
Very. I'm trying to think of the Bethesda video game. Starts with F. Never mind.
Fallout, sir.
Fallout. Thank you. It's very Fallout.
It is, and that's what I love about it. It's the only thing I love about it.
No, I agree.
Yeah. Well, I
Anyways,
think that we are largely in agreement here. And also, we're skipping ahead on the Super Chat a little bit. Terran the Black says for $1.99, the Wilson brothers are from Dallas, Texas.
There you go.
So you
Wow.
can blame Canada for many things, but not for that. That one is on Texas.
Yeah, you have to be in South America to be that far away from Canada. So there you go.
Pretty sure.
Yeah, exactly. There you go. Let's do a couple of more Super Chats before we move into the first main topic today, which Ryan alludes to right here. For €10, I have to give Iger credit. At least he came back to clean his mess up. Yeah, the funny thing is that he thought he was cleaning up Chapek's mess, but no such luck. And Salator says for $5, the song will be about the 2-minute warning. Presumably in reference to
2-minute
right
warning.
there.
Yeah.
And a tipping Bon says Saxon. Yeah, there you go.
Bravo. That is stretching the joke.
Yeah. And also on the topic of DC, Chloe says for $4.99, if Jason Momoa had really wanted to mess with Amber Heard on the set, he would have just wore a Winona Ryder t-shirt while dressed as Johnny Depp. That would have been fun. This is obviously in reference to the Variety article. We actually have a video coming about that in the very near future. Basically, the claim that Amber Heard made to her psychologist, she made a sub-story about how Jason Momoa dressed as Johnny Depp on set just to mess with her, even to the point of wearing the brass knuckle rings that she accused Johnny of having. So yeah, good times. And MB has been a member for 27 months. Thank you. And Dark King has been a member for 30 months, saying the press turned north of the Iger into Brokeback Mountain by way of Deliverance. Bob Iger's work schedule now just has Bohica listed for all day, every day. So much for the Big Daddy. What's Bohica stand for? Is that like be away or something like that?
No idea.
Yeah, I am not entirely sure about that. Let's see what if the chat can add something to that. Not that I see right now in this second. So, no, here it goes. Davina Duckworth. She has it. Bend over. Here it comes again. Thank you, Davina.
That was one of my favorite fake names in school when we had a substitute teacher and we'd write out our names and would be Ben Dover. That was one of my favorite fake names.
Very good porn name right there. And with that, let us get over into the main topic of today.
The main
Namely,
topic.
that this has been another week of hell for Disney. Now, that, of course, is
Week of
nothing
hell.
unique in and of itself. I mean, I'm sure that half of our Friday streams this year must have been Disney's most recent week of hell, which they typically have been. But this week of hell is different, because this is the week of hell where the media turned on Bob Iger. That, at least, is my reading of the situation. Cultured, can you give us a lowdown? What has happened in the media with Disney this week? What are the stories? And how have they been angled compared to how they're usually angled?
Each and every one of the stories coming out of the trades have been almost universally not, pro Bob Iger. In fact, they've kind of, been beating up on Disney outside of today's recent story about the geopolitical conflict that's raging right now in a certain part of the world, in which, Disney's pledged some finances. There really have been going at Bob and his terrible performance, and the fact that the upcoming likely proxy war that is headed this way may be justified, which you would never have heard prior to now. Something is shifted in a way that indicates there's a huge amount of weakness in Bob's camp. When you start to see stories either leaked intentionally or otherwise out there that Bob is exhausted, they're trying to portray him as less than he was back just 4 or 5 years ago when he was strutting around Hollywood and basically running it all. They're really critical of his operation of the company, in potentially the sale of the assets that he's acquired. In fact, everybody is now analyzing how this company could be slowly picked apart because of a lot of strategic mistakes or outright errors that Bob has forced upon it, and a lot of them are like rejecting the argument that this is Chapek's fault, which I find unique, because normally they would love to go after the fall guy and create a new hero. That Hollywood and the Hollywood press trades especially always love a comeback story, as I'm sure Paul and Script can speak about. But
where is Chapek?
Chapek, he is very quiet. He's loving the fact that he is under an NDA right now. I promise you that.
Absolutely. He is enjoying retirement and the gradual restoration of his reputation, because we have been saying, we were one of the very few to say this the whole time, and we even got a lot of flack from some of our friends in this community, that Bob Chapek was Disney's best hope. By pure accident, they there found maybe the one man capable of bringing Disney back to what it was. That was Chapek. That's what he was doing. We were defending what he was doing the entirety of the time when he was there, when he was being slaughtered in the media for Iger's mistakes and for Iger setups. Really, the only thing that he did was not play 4D chess good enough. Iger had him outplayed. That was really his one mistake. He had too much goodwill towards Iger. That was it. If Chapek had stayed with Disney, Disney would right now be in a very different place than it is. Instead, you have Iger now trying to force upon Disney, probably with some help from Nelson Peltz, what Chapek was doing the whole time. But Iger can't do it, because it was his mindset that brought Disney to this problem, and more are seeing that. It reminds me of Humpty Dumpty, who sat on a wall. Have you ever considered what that is a parable of? Humpty Dumpty sat on a wall and he had a big fall. It's from politics. It is some kind of politician or a star who everyone loves and who seemingly can make no mistake. But then something happens, and Humpty Dumpty makes a mistake, and then he breaks, and all the king's horses and all the king's men cannot put Humpty back together again. That is Bob Iger. The industry loved him. He was greeted as a saint. He could do absolutely no wrong. But now he's had a fall. It has been exposed what we saw all along, that the emperor has no clothes. It is now plain for everyone to see. And his image as this superstar can never be rebuilt. He is now ruined. He is broken. That is what has happened, and that's what the media sees right now. This is the live action version of Humpty Dumpty being played out before our eyes. Paul, you look like you have thoughts.
Well, my, you know what?
You had never thought of that, but that is actually what it is about.
I didn't know about the Humpty Dumpty, but I'm just thinking, I've seen the pressure cooker. In the end, everybody involved is a human being. Plus, there's only 24 hours in a day. And the number of balls that he is juggling right now, because you have to remember, a CEO, when things are running well, they're not really doing much. If you're not aware of that already, they do a lot of functionary work, board meetings, getting ready for board meetings, getting the financial, information ready for board meetings. This kind of extreme hands-on, where he's probably looking at scripts and seeing rushes and also trying to manage the board and all this stuff. This is an insane amount of pressure. Just unbelievable. I'm not entirely certain how the man sleeps.
Well, apparently he doesn't, because that was one of the stories that came out this week that never would have come out otherwise. That he is tired, he is despaired, and he openly questions to his colleagues, why did I ever come back?
Yeah, and
you know what? He never should have come back. He should have stayed
You're
away.
right. And because if you think about this business, that if things are going bad right now, anything that you can do to turn it around isn't really going to kick in until 3 to 5 years later, because you've got to put into place non-woke movies, better management and use of the properties that you've got. They are a product making company. So you've really got to stay the course until the new efforts start hitting the screen or the TV tube and start turning around your reputation and your pocketbook. That is just a shit ton of pressure.
Well, the thing is that the very same efforts you're describing to recover are exactly what he's reaping right now, because he set the framework and all of these projects in place that he's currently suffering from.
Correct.
So, yeah. It's
and all the other studios started changing their tune around 3 years ago.
Yes.
And we're seeing it now.
Yep.
Yeah, that's part of the issue, is that you've got to pull together money that you don't have.
Yes.
A will that seems to have left an awful lot of creative people. And you've got creative people who have been told that, no, we're going to get out of the intersectional game, but that's the only people you have left. And are they going to be happy being told, no more, whatever intersectional bullshit in this stuff? They're going to freak out. They want to stay the course, but now they're being told. I mean, I would imagine that someone in there is going to be reading them the riot act, saying, we're going to give you one chance to fix this, and if you choose not to, leave.
Yeah, I maybe they're giving them that ultimatum, but what do they have left is the problem. I mean, they're not there. I mean, Disney's not going out looking for somebody like Script Doctor yet. That's what they should be doing.
Sorry, I did not mean to interrupt.
No,
I just want, it was specifically to Paul's point about you got one chance. I think that conversation already happened. I think that was what happened when Nelson Peltz backed up the last time. I think that was him saying, you have one chance. I'll give you until so far to turn this around.
And it was the previous the previous conversation was the one chance, right? Now these out of chances.
The chance has already been.
And
that would explain Daredevil,
right? that particular perspective. I think
absolutely. The chance has already been, and it's been blown.
I think it also explains the fact that they're going to take a third swing at Agatha. And my God,
I'm waiting for that.
And they're going and they're rewriting Wonder Man. And there's more stuff that's being done in the background because entire films are being, redone and script. You can probably speak to more to what you've heard that's going on inside of Disney's writing, right?
Well, not really, because nobody knows what's going on over at Disney right now. That's just the thing. We've already covered that. Yes, they have scrapped the writers of the original Daredevil, keeping them on only as executive producers. So that's basically an in-name only function. We are aware that they're probably going to have to. If Disney is most likely going to stick with the mini room model, the mini room model has changed now with the new WGA MBA, which means that the showrunner has to hire a minimum of 6 writers to address the 18 episode order that Disney has blocked out for this show. And it's up to the showrunner to pick the writers that they want. So the question is, which showrunner do they get? Is the showrunner going to be one that is going to try and make it the best show they possibly can? Or are they going to be someone that is part of the ideologue of the writing community to toe the line of what Disney's brand has been and just revamp the show to fit that in a far more successful way? That remains to be seen. So until they pick someone or announce someone that is going to be taking the reins, we're not going to actually know for sure what direction Disney is going to go. Are they going to go in the direction of, hey, we're actually trying to get out of this and make entertaining product, stuff that you'll want to rewatch again and again? Or are they going to say, well, we just doubled down now. We've hired this person who has this background, what have you, and we're taking Daredevil into this more driven stuff. And that we have to wait and see on that front. But either way, it's not good for Disney. It hasn't been good for Disney for quite a long time. And I think these mistakes are just the universe trying to course correct Disney into knocking it down to the type of minimal studio that it had been for decades prior to Iger's tenure.
And for whatever reason, they're not able to announce changes in leadership that would charge up the followers. They can't, for whatever reason, they can't do what Warner Brothers did with Gunn. Now, notwithstanding what everyone thinks about Gunn and the problems with resurrecting superheroes, it at least was an idea and an individual, and now we really are just waiting, right? But it put a picture into everybody's head, and we could see that, okay, this is leadership. Nobody trusts any of the leadership at Disney right now. They don't trust Feige at Marvel. They don't trust KK at Lucasfilm. And if they came back, and I'm just throwing this out, I mean, we've been talking about this before. If they said, oh, damn, the guy who did
Favreau?
No, like if they said Favreau, yes, is taking over everything, then at least would have some kind of positive momentum.
Yeah. You know what? Like, there's 2 things that can be done. One, for Marvel, like the one name that they couldn't bring out there, is say, you know what? We went and we recruited James Gunn back again. That would create some excitement. But beyond that, I think that the one
Terry Matalas. What if they suddenly announced that Terry Matalas is going to take over?
If they kick out Kevin Feige, I think that would be positive, but it's not going to be like a massive thing because not enough people saw Star Trek Picard. Then people are going to have to learn what Terry Matalas means, like the investment world and stuff like that. They have no idea who Terry Matalas is. But if they were to do that, if they were to say, this guy, he is now our new Kevin Feige, for those that have seen Star Trek Picard Season 3, not Discovery, Picard Season 3, they would be like, yes, here we go. But only them. He's not famous enough. It would be the same kind of response that if you were to hire some random dude that you have never heard about, Paul. It would be the same kind of public response to that. But I think there's one thing.
Thinking Cher then. I'll go with Cher.
One thing I think is going to actually create excitement and the share price to rise for real. And that is if Nelson Peltz does whatever he needs to do, and then he makes press release saying, Bob Iger is now out. I am the new CEO of Disney. That is one thing I think is going to turn things around. The markets are going to respond instantly, because note what happened to the Disney share price when Nelson Peltz came back into the fray this time. It was like the last time when he was laughed out of the house or something. No, he was taken seriously by the trade, and the share price increased.
Well, he would.
Disney has now been so mismanaged, and the Trian Fund Group has done so well with their other stuff, that I think that is something the markets would react to positively. And at this point, it may be the only thing that can help. The act said, Humpty Dumpty has broken. Iger is Humpty Dumpty. He is the emperor without clothes, and he has now been exposed. And the only people who don't see that are bitter enders like John Campea, who are like just too far in on their illusion of what this charlatan is. Yeah, that's the only way to save Disney right now. Bob Iger has got to go.
Well, Bob Iger did go, and the problem is
he should have stayed away, because Disney did better without him.
He was doing go-ish.
Yeah. Go-ish. Yeah. Wow, that's a term. Yeah. Anyway, what was I going to say? No, you're fine. I'm not certain that Peltz would be a good CEO, but yes, it would certainly.
He'd be a good interim CEO.
Yes,
interim, not permanently, but interim, to go in and be a hatchet man that goes and fires whoever was left after Iger did like his 12,000 or whatever it became at the end.
And
that's
pull
not
off
enough. They need to hire far more than that.
Yes, and pull off an actual Jason Kilar, which is what he was hired to do at Warner Brothers and never got to do. So
you need to pull up a freaking Voorhees with reference to Tom's background window there. It needs to be a proper Friday the 13th at Disney with blood flowing around the Magic Castle afterwards.
No, I think the moat should be red by the time we're done inside of Disney. There's no doubt about it. Yeah. But to cater to the vigilante that's also on screen, that courtesy of Tom, I would say that I would say that Peltz just needs to get revenge for what he was promised by Iger the last time he showed up with a stack full of stock in his hand, saying you need to change your ways and have a succession plan. The succession plan that Peltz did not want was having Bob be the succession plan, because that's what happened. And like I said, I mean, Bob has so much hubris that he has to be displaced. I have a feeling that that's the only way Disney can recover. We've covered that many times. But I have a feeling that if Peltz does get the 2 or 3, probably 3 board seats that he's aiming for, it will be just the beginning of the end of the Iger era. And I have a feeling that ousting Iger is still beyond the pale for most of the people that are on that board, because they were handpicked by Iger to be there, courtesy of his friends and the big hedge funds and investment management teams that are the majority stockholders, the institutional investor. So
yeah,
all I have to say is that when I saw Iger on the Apple stage talking up all the new software that Disney is going to provide for Apple's as yet unreleased 3D headset, I'm so sad if that all disappears. I'll be so unhappy.
Much as with most Disney things, it's largely vaporware these days. So Disney's promised an awful lot of. Look at their recent theme park remodels and what they promise and what they deliver. It's oftentimes a lot of pomp and no actual
circumstance.
Yeah, well, that and actually nothing tangible. Wow. It's vaporware. So
what? How dare you, Davina? Nobody cares about the Apple Vision Pro. I talk about nothing else but it. Never. I haven't spoken to it yet.
And that's because it's like 9 times more expensive than anybody's going to be, willing to shell out.
And apparently it's really heavy.
Oh, no way. See, the Vive and other similar headsets have gotten lighter and lighter and smaller and smaller. Yeah.
But
I mean,
we'll
Did
be
they
doing
learn nothing from Nintendo's Virtual Boy? I mean, did they all forget about that? Well, I guess so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nintendo.
Yeah. Well, I believe we have said pretty much everything there is to say about this week for Disney so far. Any final words on the media turning against Bob Iger? Script?
All I can say is that it's about time. I mean, one of the whole idea of a news organization is to hold people to account, and they haven't been doing that for a long time. And it's nice to see that they're doing that in this way. It's also quite entertaining, the fact that at the same time that they're going after Iger, they're also kowtowing to Iger and all of his cohorts when it comes to negotiations of the union's contracts as well. And it's fun to see them kind of tear themselves apart over that.
Yeah, indeed. Tom, any final thoughts on Iger, or do you have any more Batman toys to put in their proper permanent place?
No, I mean, we've pretty much talked about it plenty of times over. It's kind of funny finally seeing that the media is caught up with us a little bit. I mean, of course, let's be real. Most of the reason this turn on Iger has been happening, as we pointed out before, has more to do with the strikes and fair weather friends and all that kind of business. As we've said that, you know,
And the share price. Let's not
yeah,
forget
exactly,
about
and
that.
that and that kind of thing. Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see what Peltz pulls off with all this drama.
Yeah. Yeah, no, indeed. Like, we have been saying this for a long time, so you just have to go back to our Disney playlist. Some people have called us obsessive, but no, we've just been able to see what should have been plainly obvious to everyone. Bob Iger stayed too long the first time, and he should never ever have come back. There was a time and a place for his policies, and they ended around 2012. That's when he needed to retire and let someone with different strategies take over. I mean, CEOs generally have a short lifespan, and there's a reason for that. That is because the markets are constantly changing, and a company's, or certainly a corporation strategy, has to be a revolving target, constantly adapting to circumstances. It has to adapt more than any individual CEO possibly can adapt. So just because Iger happened to be the right man from, say, 2005 till 2010 doesn't mean that he was the right man much longer than that. And he certainly wasn't the man in the last 5-6 years when all he's been doing is destroying what he once built. So, yeah, and with that, let's move on with some of these super chats. Mexican Iron Man says has been a member for 30 months and says, shout out to this great panel from Key West, Florida, where I am best man at Stone Loki's wedding today. Oh, awesome. Please shout out Loki. Oh, and P.S. Bob needs to start doing 3 shower days ASAP. Hashtag dang it, Bob.
Dang it, Bob.
Yeah. Congratulations to Stone Loki and to Miss Stone Loki, and I hope it's going to be an awesome time.
Apologies to Mrs. Stone Loki.
Yeah, that's too, and it's going to be awesome. Like, yeah, Mexican Iron Man, the best man. I mean, I can't wait to. I would have loved to hear his speech. And I hope there's some roasting in there. So
I got to tell you what, Mikey, I'm mad at you. Why is it that Paul gets to meet you before I do, sir?
Because I'm putting the effort in.
And you should come down and visit me. I'm on the way, probably.
Dude, you're in Wisconsin.
You're in Wisconsin.
That's
quite
quite
west
the,
of him.
Yeah, that's quite
Go
the
west, my friend, as they said.
I just drive along Lake Erie, hit the tip, and then go straight down to Charlotte.
I'm not that far from Michigan.
No, you're quite far.
You're another time zone over.
Fine, whatever. Y'all suck.
Plus, you've got all these cows we have to drive around.
Well, we'll make up for it at an eventual Midnight's Edge meetup where we'll all be. How about that?
Sounds good. Hopefully, we'll be able to do a meetup from his place.
What, you mean Wisconsin?
No, not Tom. I don't care about Tom. No, I'm Mike's place. I'll be streaming from Mike's place.
Yeah, North Carolina would be a location. That or Vegas or something. We'll find
South
a place for
Carolina.
it. Yeah,
South Carolina.
South Carolina. Sorry, I almost lived in North Carolina once.
Oh.
So yeah.
I called a campsite in West Virginia, which is exactly 8 hours equidistant between where we live and where Mike is, and that accent was really interesting. I don't think I could even come close to the West Virginia accent. That was very, very neat.
Well, neither can I. So you and me. And Mr. Tickle Trunk says for $2 Canadian, happy bring your kid to camp day. Yeah. Oh, awesome. And Twilight Hope says for two Bulgarian, would a live adaptation of Humpty bring Disney money? Well, not if it starred Rachel Zegler, but if someone else were to do a proper drama of what happened behind the scenes at Disney, and they were to use our videos as part of the sources, yeah, that'd make money. That'd be cool. As long as they keep the budget in check, though. Always keep the budget in check.
Yeah, keep it under $300 million.
Yeah, and just for you, Twilight Hope, I am rocking the Che White T-shirt today with Rachel Zegler as Che White.
Oh my God!
So
gender bent Che, that's very progressive.
If you're looking for this T-shirt, it's available on beachpunk.us. That's right. Rachel Zegler is
Che Zegler.
Che White. There you go.
Che Zegler. There you
go.
Nice.
Yeah, it's fantastic. Nice. Even has the rose there, from Snow White right there. Che White. There you go. Yeah.
And Angela Richter wonders, who's been a member for 1 month. Oh, awesome. Glad to have you. Saying, who asked for Simon's story to be told? He was barely a secondary figure. Wonder Man is a non-starter. Yeah, it is indeed. So here's to hoping that someone will get to their senses and cancel the Wonder Man series. I mean, Wonder Man should, if anything, be a cameo, a guest appearance in someone else's series. But that you do a Wonder Man series on its own, then you better have one hell of a take. But we know what their take is. He's gender bent, and he's now black. That's their take.
No, he's not gender bent. He's always been a man.
Sorry. I meant race bent. Bent.
He might be gay. We don't know that yet, or trans. You don't assume that until
we don't
you
know. But the thing is, they've already missed their boat on Wonder Man, because one of the pivotal aspects of him is the fact that his consciousness was kind of copied over and used to create Ultron, or not Ultron. Sorry, Vision, the thing that Ultron built. They skipped that. The authenticity that makes.
What the hell do you bring him in for?
Exactly. Like, there's no point to him.
I know nothing about Wonder Man. I know his bread, but I don't know his man.
Yeah, I know his costume, and I don't think that's alone. Like, you have to look a little bit more out there in order to be justified for a series.
I think he became like an action star in the Marvel comics, like a movie action star.
Oh, within the comics.
In the comics, yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Okay, so basically he's kind of like the Johnny Cage then of the Marvel universe.
That's a good analogy, yes.
That freaking sucks.
Yeah, but no, the reason they're doing it is because barely anybody knows him, and so they can get away with doing lots of heinous things to him.
Yeah, but since no one knows him, what's the point? Well, anyway, there's your problem with Marvel in a nutshell right there.
Yeah.
And then Doomed, says for $2, did Prodigy fail upwards by landing on Netflix? Now, this, of course, is in reference to Star Trek Prodigy. Well, someone failed with that. Tom, what's your take on it?
Basically, Amazon had enough of their shit, and I guess they gave Netflix a good enough deal on the international side of things that they took it. Because I thought the show was canceled. And then I heard this news
for Nickelodeon, right?
Yeah, so it's being moved from Nickelodeon to Netflix now. Yeah, they don't even want it on CBS All Access or whatever the hell you call it anymore. Paramount Plus. Like, who's watching this crap? I don't know. But evidently, that's the only people who'd give them money for it. It sounds like.
It would appear so. Then we have Stone Racket, who sent us a $5 super chat. Everyone, please smash that like. And Jesus Davila has been a member for 23 months, saying the same thing. If you're enjoying the stream, please smash the like button. Indeed you do. Eric K has been a member for 26 months, and we're glad to have you. And Mr. Tickle Trunk corrected, saying, oops, I mean happy no bra day. So is that today? Oh, okay. Oh, cool.
Well, if you're in Camp Crystal Lake, I'm pretty sure there's like a dress code.
Yeah, I guess.
Or lack thereof, I mean.
Well, if you are in Crystal Lake or something else, then yeah, happy no bra day. But there is something that's far less happy for those of us who are into physical media.
Oh, yeah.
Especially if you're in the physical media and you are in the United States of America. Tom, what is going on? What is happening in physical media?
I mean, the biggest thing going on right now is that if you stop to think about it, Friday the 13th, 4 and 5, or 3 and 4 don't even take place on Friday the 13th. It just boggles your mind. Oh, you mean with Best Buy? That's right. Yeah, actually, our good buddy Bill Hunt broke this yesterday, and then Variety picked it up today. Best Buy, for some reason, and this is on the heels of Walmart saying they were going to expand re-expand, I guess is the way to put it, their home media department. Best Buy is closing theirs down as of the first quarter of next year. Now, this is kind of a blow because Best Buy is one of the biggest media sellers still as far as Blu-ray, DVD, and all that business goes. And they get a lot of exclusive deals, like steel books and whatnot. So I'm sure that the industry is not too happy about this. But
this is what happens. This is what happens when you put a woman in charge of your company. I'm just saying.
Oh. But yeah, even Bill gets a shout out here in Variety. Yeah, this makes absolutely no sense to me, especially after Disney has, speaking of on the heels of our recent discussion, after they seem to go back on their whole idea of, distancing themselves from home media. Disney has said, "Oh no, we're gonna reinvest in it a little bit." To me, this makes no sense because outside of home media, they're still going to be selling video games, I guess, but that doesn't make any sense either because most video games are online now or digital. Like it just, you're killing all your foot traffic in your store because most people don't go to buy a washer or dryer or a computer on a daily basis, but the chances are you're going to sell quite a few DVDs and Blu-rays on a daily basis.
Well, with new ones coming out every Tuesday, yeah, that's constant.
Foot traffic,
influx of product to generate foot traffic.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah, so like this is to me, doesn't make any sense. I don't get it. Everybody's reactions, I'd love to hear them. Let's start with you, Paul, if you're there.
I'm here.
Now you had said that Canada quit doing theirs.
We haven't had the physical media for years, have we? Script.
I haven't been into a Best Buy for years, but I've been to a Walmart recently. They still have physical media. But
well, Best Buy has really changed its store. What it's selling. Its layout, lots of home alarm stuff, tiny things, lots more small appliances.
Yeah, it's more like it's more like a home appliance store nowadays. Than it is. I mean, you can still get like certain computers and computer accessories, and
it's actually like a better, sharper image.
Yeah,
really. I mean,
it kind of could be that way. I'm just browsing on their website right now, and I'm like, yeah, this is mostly just not. This is stuff I could get anywhere else too, and probably for cheaper.
Yeah. I mean,
well, I'd also heard that they're shutting down their Geek Squad home stuff next year too.
Wow.
It sounds like they're still going to have it in store, but they aren't going to do the home visits anymore.
The home visits are very expensive. Home visits are very expensive to do. Maybe PCs have finally gotten more reliable and they don't need it. Most of the home visits really revolve around viruses.
You know, it would be cool if Bill Gates could stop focusing on eradicating other viruses and just focus on making his computers better.
Yeah, I don't know how anybody thought that the guy who can't even keep a fucking virus off of a computer should be, telling us what we should put in our bodies.
Well, he can't.
Anyway.
He can't keep them off the real world either. He can just. Well,
That's what I mean. He's the last person we should be asking.
I'll be very careful here, but let's just say that all of the humanitarian stuff he has helped people not really worked out so well for those he's done it to.
I mean, I know from experience because I own this website company. I've got hundreds of clients, and they call us for tech support that's really got nothing to do with what we do for a living for their websites, but we're nice people and we're knowledgeable, and we try to help people out. And the biggest tech support calls are people not able to hook up their Outlook email to their service.
Oh yeah, it's unbelievable they haven't been able to do that easier after so many years.
There's just so many. I mean, part of it has to do with the way the internet has been designed. And there's just so many different ways to hook it up. So that's a big deal. The other thing too is people forgetting their password, but then they've got a phone, a computer, a desktop computer, a laptop, and maybe a tablet that they now all have to get the password, reassigned, and they just have no idea how to do that.
Yeah,
I forgot my password. Well, we're gonna have to change it then. Well, if you change it, then I'm gonna have to go through all my devices. Yes, you will.
That's the point.
Yeah, they're crying. Next time, write down your password, put it on a Post-it note, and put it on the monitor on your speaker on your computer. That's what we recommend.
But yeah, culture. So, what's your reaction to this? Good talk.
Well, I can go in the meantime.
Go ahead, Andre, until culture gets back.
I'm not happy about it at all. Because
even though you don't really shop at Best Buy, but yeah.
No, I don't really shop at Best Buy, and I don't have to, because this is the same trend that goes on everywhere. All this, I don't care about Best Buy one way or the other, because I've never been there. But what I do care about, it's yet another brick and mortar store that stops supporting physical media. That I care about, because that is bad for everyone.
Yeah, you shop at Oslo Outlet.
Well, it's called Platekompaniet, but I catch your drift.
Which translates to Walmart.
Yeah, it translates to Oslo Outlet.
No, actually, that's for clothes. There actually is a thing called Oslo Outlet.
Oh,
for clothes only. So yeah, you looked out to that. So that's for instance, if I want some sports clothes or something like a new tracksuit, then I may go to the Oslo Outlet. That's this real freaking thing. But no, for my physical media, like 15, 20 years ago, we had so many specialist stores for DVD splitters. It was awesome. They were amazing. Now we have one left, and it's Platekompaniet, and they have like 2 stores left in all of the country, and the biggest one is the Oslo one, and that one they're even going to shrink and reduce in size. That is really, really unfortunate, because I think it's important with physical media, because as long as you have bricks and mortar stores, there's going to be people buying at least some level there, and that means that you'll be able to own these things always, instead of just digital releases, which is DivX all over again. A digital release is a rental. They can take it from you at any time, and they can change it at any time. Whereas a movie that you own, a physical copy of, is permanent. There is no mucking with that. Plus, it's a physical collectible to the fans, and there is demand for it. Like Bill Hunt made that point, that physical media is like the only thing where the consumers are screaming at the companies, please give us this, and they say, no, we don't want that money. We'd rather lose money on streaming, which is utterly insane to me. And of course, everyone should go check out our talk with Bill Hunt from 2018 or something.
And it's not even
thorough discussion of that.
And it's not just them saying it straight to the customers. They're even saying it to companies like Shout Factory and stuff that want to license this stuff out.
That is even worse, because
Right?
as long as you have the likes of Shout, I mean, I'm very happy with the boutique special releases that I have, but I want more. I don't want it to end.
Yeah, I mean, they've been trying to get their hands on the Nightmare on Elm Street films for years, but New Line just sits on them. They haven't done jack shit with them. They haven't released a new box set in over 10 years now. Like, it's what are you waiting for? Shout's just dying to throw money at you so we can throw money at them, right? Like, speaking of Friday the 13th, you want to see one of the most beautiful box sets. Oh, I got to grab it because I was watching it last night. But I mean, they put together one of the most beautiful box sets in the world. They had a matching Halloween one from years back. I mean, this is what the fans want. You're 100% right. And with Best Buy doing this, I just don't understand why they would cut off this revenue stream. Culture, you're the only one who hasn't really chimed in yet. What's your feeling on the whole Best Buy thing? And I guess this even made the Jimmy Fallon show last night's monologue.
I think it's idiotic, and I think it further highlights the fact that the studios are literally cutting off their nose to spite their face. And you would think they had already learned from this dalliance into streaming, as it is a format rather than anything else, as you guys have accurately described it. And I want as many variations and releases of the media as I can possibly get, because it's the only way that I know for a fact I can preserve it. I mean, historically, I mean, a lot of these things are being changed. You're seeing that, by a lot of these studios changing it to be, compatible with the modern stuff, because again, you cannot, anytime you present something of quality in the past and compare it to something that we're getting currently, it pales in comparison. And the only way to artificially elevate, and this is happening in all aspects of life, not just this, the only way to artificially elevate inferior stuff is to, remove and demonize the things that had come before. Unfortunately, it's politically oriented, because they're trying to convince you that the past was bad, that everything that we are is bad, and they want to go to this, this model so badly that they have to destroy our popular culture to do it. So yeah.
That's how bad I am. I actually got it
we're
right.
also behind on a new format. That's the other part. Right now, you got DVD, Blu-ray, 4K. They're all discs. They're all using moving parts. They all can skip and scratch. There's no new format that can rival it that's on the same part as streaming. And at the other time too, is this the reason why there was a dip in physical media prior to streaming's dominance was because of space. People don't have huge homes to store all these movies that they want to have.
Right. Well,
and
they do have
that smaller and more convenient can do that, but they haven't ever released one.
Exactly. And they can, but they won't. And that's why. It's because they have to do one of two things. First of all, they either have to put it on like a disc or a chip or whatever. And people aren't fans of that.
Better, yeah.
Yeah, and they tried that. They actually had a point where they were trying to put movies on little flash drives, and people just weren't buying into that. So I think the disc is the last format. People are comfortable with the disc. We have been comfortable with the disc since 1982. Well, no, I mean just the disc in general, since CD was introduced in 1982. People are used to that little format. It's comfortable. It's decent to store. And you're right. Like in some cases, people don't have room to store it. But what we do have now are hard drives. But what they won't let us do is actually download our stuff. Now, if you have a proprietary app, you can download a lesser quality version of your movie sometimes to an app or whatever, but you're usually stuck on watching it on whatever thing you downloaded it to, which then it kind of limits the individual on how they can store their films. Now, Andre is somebody who takes his discs, rips them into a lossless format and puts them on a streaming system in his house, right?
Correct.
And that's kind of what they should do, is allow us to be able to download these things. But I also don't want that. I don't want them to have that much control over it. So that's where I think the disc is the last and final bastion of both music and movies that is going to be able to give us a physical means of having it in our home. And it's still a product that people will buy because they trust it. And I agree with you, Script. You're not 100% wrong. It's still a physical format, but it's the last one we're going to get at the end of the day. But it's not going anywhere. And 4K is pretty much the end of the line. Like, you can't really get much better than that until we literally get to virtual reality. right?
Well,
Like,
yeah,
yeah.
but I mean, like, it's 4K on disc, and if there's something new that comes out, that will be a huge boon for physical media, especially if it's smaller and easier to store, and also has the options of letting you do an isolated media server that is not connected to the studios that own the content which is on that physical media. Because again, that's the other part too. Even though you have the DVD Blu-ray, you
Right.
don't own the movie that's on it. You just own your ability to watch it at your home.
Well, that's just it. We want to be able to not have to be hooked up to something to watch it. We want to be able to have it to watch it at our own leisure. They can't edit it or take it away from us.
Exactly.
You know, that's what people like about
without having to re-release it for us
Yeah.
to buy. That's the trick, right? If they could edit it and re-release it, some people would probably buy it. But now it's
And
being done without that.
on that note, I'm very happy to even buy it again.
Trust me, I have.
It's a proper upgrade. I mean, Lord knows how many versions I have of Hellraiser, 2001:
Halloween,
A Space Odyssey,
Army Darkness.
They bought like every version to come out since VHS. And if they are able to do better than 4K, I'll get that too.
Okay, but you guys are pretending like discs and cylinders haven't been around for centuries as a form of media storage. They have.
No. We're not.
I'm saying there's just nothing new.
I mean, there doesn't
No.
have to be anything new. If so, this
Yes,
is the biggest
it does.
problem with the looking at everything new is better. New is not always better.
I'm not saying better. I'm just saying new.
No, I get what Script is saying, but they haven't invented a new way to carry the film outside of streaming, and that's really the only other means that they have tried to adapt at this point, basically. But I agree that with culture that you don't really have to go any farther than this. The disc has already worked for almost 50 years. Let's just keep it that way.
Centuries.
No, it's since the 45 record.
Well, I mean, the digital disc is what I'm talking about. Yeah.
True, but again, like when you have something that has moving parts, it's more likely to fail, right?
Yep.
So if you can find
Disc
a new
is
format
perfect.
that doesn't have moving parts that can still retain the qualities of the personal at-home physical media, that is a win because now you've purchased something that has a better chance at lasting a lot longer than your disc, your records, your cassette tapes, your VHS, all those things.
But see, here's the thing. If you go back to like a flash drive situation, you're going back to not necessarily moving parts, but more parts than you are with a disc, just like you were with
absolutely.
VHS. To where the disc itself, as long as you don't scratch it or it doesn't have disc rot problems, that disc will last forever, at least until as far as we know at this point, because, we still have CDs from, back in the 80s that still play just fine. And same thing with DVDs and stuff from the early days. It's just a matter of, having the players. They've made it a little more difficult to get a player nowadays, unless you buy a game system for that matter. But that being said, I can't believe, here's the point I wanted to get to. And this goes off of what Bill says here. And this is the quote that Andre was talking about earlier, is that Best Buy cannot claim that they're not making any money off this shit. And that's what I don't understand. Because
not enough money.
Maybe not enough money, Paul. That could be true. But they get a lot of exclusive steelbooks. And guess what? They sell out every single fucking time almost. So you can't tell me that they aren't hitting the goal of what they're figuring, right? And these most of the time sell out before they even hit the shelf. Good luck trying to get an Exorcist steelbook right now. You'll pay 30, 40, 50 bucks.
Come out that long ago, and it's
or
already
more than
sold
that.
out.
I mean, it was 30 just to begin with. So now you'll pay 50 to 100 bucks, I bet, to get
Well,
one.
the big thing is that this whole movie online stuff is broken because the music one isn't so bad. I can go back and find most of the tunes that I listened to in the 60s, 70s online and started streaming. I'm not asked to pay another fee to listen to Blue Oyster Cult or whatever. The problem is on the movie side, it's so fragmented where you can stream it. And then you take a look at a program like Cowboy Bebop. It's coming off of Netflix October 21st. And so I'm using this opportunity to binge it yet again. And now it'll be gone. And there's so many movies that I want to see that initially they come up, I got to pay for them on Google. Oh, wait, now they're turning up on Tubi. It's a mess. It's a complete mess. If the movie streaming business worked as well as the audio streaming business, then I think there would be less issues. But
I agree with you.
Where we're it's confusing. Sometimes we have to pay for it. Sometimes we don't. It's not good for the consumer.
But the problem with the music industry is they done screwed themselves over in this whole digital domain. And I mean, the movie industry is probably going to figure that out eventually too. And yeah, Jay, it's been 50 years. In fact, the Laserdisc technically predates the CD. Most people don't realize
It
that.
does, yeah.
They were working on the Laserdisc way back in the 60s, and they had the first working prototype in 1978. Yeah. So, I mean, it's just a matter of like people are familiar with it. Same thing with record. Look at people are going back to records, right? Like people, and I think the reason for that isn't the sound quality, because Lord knows, and everybody here on the panel probably agree with me that we all know that the sound quality of records is basically shit, right? It's the fact that people want to hold it in their hands, basically.
Exactly.
Go ahead, sorry.
All those people that talk about, no, you get like this much more crisp, clean, like from a record. I don't know what the hell they have been smoking. What you get is better artwork. You get the artwork the way that in a way was meant to be seen.
I totally agree.
Kind of painted artwork that was made for records, not for CDs.
I am the only audiophile here. You get a great.
You're wrong.
Sure, but
because guess what? I'm glad this guy put out a video the other day. 99% of all the records you've bought since 1980 something have been digitally mastered, Culture.
Okay, you're making an assumption that I'm buying records that are produced after that point in time.
Okay,
I
well,
mean,
anything prior to that,
was vintage. I mean, Culture is a proper. Like, if you're a record collector, I know that you are the proper one. You're going to have the proper ones from the 70s, which actually will sound better than their CD counterparts. But for modern releases, that's not true anymore.
Well, but it would be very easy to go back in time and fix it, because again, when the records were produced, the ones that I collect, you're going to have a greater depth of sound than digital can reproduce, and you're going to be closer to what the musician is playing in the studio than what you're going to hear on a digital recording. Believe it or not. As far as someone like myself is concerned, you can hear the difference. For me, DDD recordings sound flat. Sorry, Tom, you're not right. Look, there's a reason that you have the grooves in the album. There's a reason that you have a proper stylus. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
That's actually a very expensive box that he's got in his hands.
Oh yeah.
Look at that. Yeah, it's too bad that's not on an album.
Culture is only partially right to a point.
So this does sound good.
I'm sure it does. I have lots of collectors stuff on disc, but if I'm going back in time and I'm going to collect old Stones, old Beatles, or anything else, I want when I have 2 copies of the registered white albums. Those are albums, and they were made back then, and I have them, and they sound beautiful, and I baby them. I love on them. I love on the albums that I have for a reason. I spend a lot of money on stylus for my turntables so that I get the best possible audio recreation, and that's what you're trying to do. The digital does not recreate audio the way it's played.
Disagree. Completely disagree.
Well, I noted that you disagree, but
because you can hear every single burp and fart on a Blu-ray full-on HD master, because it's going way above and beyond anything you could possibly do in analog.
We're not talking about Blu-ray here. We're talking about
no. But that's what I'm saying. CD. Even regular CD audio, you can get super CD that can do the same thing. That's what I'm saying. I don't understand. You get a bunch of added on top of stuff. So I don't know where you think that's adding any more to the clarity at all.
You need a better turntable and stylus.
If the record's fucked, what difference does it make?
Don't fuck your records. Pretty easy. I mean, I don't know what would compel you to do that.
Yeah, stop making bread on your records, Tom.
I mean, when you're going to get a 1-to-1 digital copy from the original master, there's no way any record in the world is going to sound that clear.
Some of the problem is now that you're doing digital mastering from the very beginning, you're losing a lot of audio depth. Of course, you don't have a lot.
That's a misconception that was put out there by the audio community. There's no evidence whatsoever to support that, because digital can go much higher and lower in frequency than anything analog can.
Most people I know are recording at 96-bit. I mean, it's
yeah, you can't even get that on a record.
No, and then they pull it down to 44.1.
That's what I'm saying, Culture. Like, yes, to your ears, if you think it sounds better, that's great. I'm not going to say you're wrong.
Good.
I'm just going to say that
there 10 minutes.
There is, but what you're saying is fundamentally wrong in a scientific form. There is no scientific evidence to support.
Okay.
In fact, there's more scientific evidence to support that a record cannot contain as many frequencies as digital can. Now, how your ears hear it and perceive it is a completely different argument because people hear things differently depending on how your hearing is.
Tom, do you what pixel density do you believe your eyes are able to process?
What are you getting at here? Because like,
I'm going to say, so the only advantage to recording in 4 and 8K is because you can blow it up and it'll still look decently represented in that presentation. Is it any better than a cellulose frame?
You're comparing two completely different mediums here.
You are. No, they're both analog medium. You see, this is the thing. Any cellulose frame, that's an analog medium.
It's a chemical analog medium compared to the other, which is
what's a stabbed album?
Because here's the thing, I can sit here and we can go into another form of this argument, and I'm going to end it now. VHS has better sound on it than any fucking audio format that ever came out other than CD. So there you go. There's a higher bandwidth on VHS than there ever was on record.
No, you have incredible hits.
Because we used to use it. Not really, because we used to use it in the studio for digital shit. But anyway,
we did. We used to use.
I'm just telling you, there's still hits in VHS, and you can pretend
it's a different VHS. It's the full band.
Yeah, it's the full band. Yeah,
it's not VHS as in a track from a TV show. It's using VHS as 100% audio tape.
But even on your home VHS, in most cases, you can get a really good sound quality out of it.
Well, no,
you'd be surprised if you got a good hi-fi stereo VCR. Moving on, Hyperguyver 2 says, can we talk about Florida school that showed Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey to their 4th grade class? Seems fitting for Friday the 13th. Who fucked that one up?
That's just news to me.
This reminds me of, when was this one that they did a couple years back that they did the same thing, assuming it was, which one was it? Some school showed some R-rated film thinking it was
it Santa's Sleigh?
Was it something like that? Maybe it was something along those lines, but that's not ringing the bell though.
I'm just trying to think of like the horror films. That
it wasn't the Grinch one either because it wasn't that new. Yeah, and it wasn't that Grinch one either because it wasn't that new. This was a couple years back.
Wow!
And this teacher lost their job over it too. I remember it, and she was some very elderly substitute teacher, and they didn't realize that the movie they were showing was this R-rated film, but I can't remember what it was. But anyway, yeah, I didn't hear about this, but that's interesting. I wonder how that fuck up happened. How do you not see that with Blood and Honey in the title? I mean,
just looking at the cover of the picture, you can tell it's not made for kids.
Well, you know what? Maybe no one looked at the cover. Maybe they downloaded it and they just played the file.
And there's
they meant Amber Heard's Pooh.
Wow. No, maybe I think Andre may be right. If you just digitally download something.
That's what I'm thinking. I really think that's how that happens, because there's no way you look at the cover. But then again, this is a modern day classroom. So the teacher probably decided, you know what? I download illegally anyway. I do my Surfshark. So let's go find some Winnie the Pooh. Here, this is the first Winnie Pooh that comes up. There, this is the bitrate I need and everything like that. That's not too big. Cool, we go with that one. Perfect. And then they play it without realizing what it is.
But is the sound good? That's really what I want to argue about.
Well, I think that more important than the file there is the shitty PC computer. So probably not. I think they still saw the blood in that movie. That may be the bigger issue. And word blood, well, maybe they didn't read that right. Maybe they didn't stop to think. They just assumed, maybe they're brothers of the blood or something. Yeah.
Maybe it's a sexual education video that they're so happy to show in school.
Piglet, I was in the bathroom and now there's blood on the toilet seat. What's happening?
Well, then it would have been intentional to show it.
Exactly.
Winnie the Pooh getting his period.
Oh, bother! I got my first period.
Yeah, exactly.
Winnie the Trans.
Boys do that now.
Winnie the Trans. Oh shit! I didn't hear about this. I'd be curious to hear a follow up to it. If you want to send me the story, that's interesting. Thundercock is here and says Prodigy was sold for cost to Netflix with an option M4 movie. I don't know what M4 movie would be. Amazon wanted season 3, but underpaid the offer. Failed content for failed. For Star Trek. Okay, gotcha. Okay, so it was sold for cost to Netflix with an option for a movie. Amazon wanted season 3, but underpaid the offer. Failed content for failed
Well,
service.
then I
Yeah,
kind of see where Netflix is doing it.
I didn't
because
hear
it's gonna
anything like
have,
this, but I just heard that. Yeah, basically it's something similar-ish. I can't
it's gonna
confirm
have
it, but
like
yeah.
it's gonna have like some audience, and if they're able to undercut it and pay at cost, it may actually work out for them. And especially since Amazon will have done the advertising gig already, I can see why they would do that. I wouldn't have done it myself. It's unfortunate, but yeah, I mean, kudos to Kurtzman. He was able to get another deal when the alternative was no deal.
Yeah. Markson 117B says, have any of you heard of the upcoming animated show on Max called Ayanu? Based on an independent superhero comic universe. Have not.
No, I have not.
Nope.
Never.
They've got a bunch of superheroes in their own DC comics. Why are they picking up independent?
I was thinking that too. This doesn't seem wise at all. Why would you do that?
Maybe it has more of a target audience to children than some of the DC stuff that Warner Brothers wants to do.
Maybe. But they have stuff for that too. I mean, they have like this
Oh, they do?
animated Louis Lane and stuff, don't they?
Well, the animated stuff that they've done, Warner Brothers hasn't made at that quality or for that broad of a demographic since 2004. Really, they've been going far more hardcore since the end of Justice League Unlimited and the Green Lantern animated series. So
They sold some kids animated Christmas Batman thing to Netflix. I don't know if that's related to the J.J. Abrams project or not, but it's got like Batmite in it. It looks like, and it kind of looks like a exaggerated style of the animated series. I don't know if you guys have seen that yet.
I haven't seen any promotion for that. Batman Brave and the Bold had Batmite in it that was exaggerated and funny and voiced by Paul Rubens.
I think it was a little different than that. Like this looks like a see if I can find the poster here. Hang on. But anyway, moving on in the time between, go ahead, Andre, and read that if you want to.
Yeah, certainly. Aaron Ratliff has been a member for 6 months and says, sad thing is Prodigy was the most Star Trek of all the new Trek series. It embraced all the things that made Star Trek great without being woke. Oh, really? I had no idea. I've never seen
Well, maybe it's not Batman. Maybe it's Bat Junior. I guess I don't know.
Merry Little Batman. I'm not familiar with it.
That does not look like Batmite.
It's on Amazon. I'm sorry. I said Netflix, Amazon. I'm sorry.
That looks, if anything, more like a child's dream of being with Batman or something.
Yeah.
It looks like the whole thing was a dream all along or something.
I wonder if it's an animated version of that kid who had the Make-A-Wish day and they made him Batman for the day.
Well, I mean, the knee-high boots on Batman is always weird to see.
That looks kind of weird. Yeah, the art turned me off right away. So, yeah, I don't know anything more about it than that. I just saw the poster. So, yeah. And then we've got Professor Haitien who says plenty of physical media here in Quebec, but not as much as before.
Well, as long as you still have plenty, that's a win. And one takes the wins one can get. And then the DCV Titan, Jesus Davila gifted a member. Gifted one membership. So yeah, that's just StreamYard not fully on board there, but he gifted a membership. So thank you and congratulations to whoever got it. And then the DCV Titan said for $5 Canadian, Best Buy still has DVD and Blu-ray, just nowhere near the stock that they used to have. Mostly 2 or 3 stands in walkways through the store. Yeah, but I believe that the thing now is that they'll be removing even those, isn't it, Tom?
Yeah. I just don't understand this. I mean, they don't have a lot of space anymore where they used to, but yeah. I got this other story here though about blood and honey. Did you guys want to update on this? Sorry, I got distracted by this. That was my fault.
Yeah. Yeah, here we have the story, but I haven't had the time to read it yet. So I'm seeing it for the first time here.
Yeah, Miami school receives complaints after pupils shown Winnie the Pooh themed horror film by teacher. I guess they got to see about 20, 30 minutes of the movie by a math teacher. They said maths teacher, but
Yes.
characters of Pooh, Piglet, blah, 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 blah. It obtained an NR rating in the US, meaning it's not rated, but it's marked as 18 by the British Board of Classification. One mother whose twins were in the class said she felt completely abandoned by the school after the teacher failed to stop playing the film. He didn't stop the movie, even though the kids were saying, "Hey, stop the movie. We don't want to watch this." Oh, Lord.
Well, what's the motivation for showing it in the first place?
Says it was addressed directly. Appropriate action was taken. They don't even give an excuse of what, like it was a misunderstanding or what, like.
Well, this just confirms what I said. The teacher probably downloaded it illegally and they don't want to admit it because there's no other reason why the studio would genuinely want to show Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Thunder. It's easy to imagine why they would want to show proper Winnie the Pooh just to get the students to shut up for a while they go out to the other room and have a drink or something. I can see that. But Blood and Honey, only reason for that is that they downloaded the wrong file. And then they were in too much of a hurry to leave the room and have a drink to notice.
Yeah.
Just get.
There is the story of the teacher that put in a VHS that was put in the wrong box. So the box was,
movie A.
Yeah, movie A, like the dangers of smoking pot. And then instead, inserted behind the green door or something.
Cheech and Chong.
Well, that's appropriate. That's educational. I would have left that going.
Yeah,
if you want any proof of what dope does to you, just watch a Cheech and Chong movie.
Here's the thing. I remember, I think it was The Lion King, because they had to mass produce so many so fast that they were using like every company in the country and world, that some pornos got mixed in with it. I think it was Lion King, because like they had, and didn't realize it. That happens sometimes, but I still can't remember what movie it was that happened at a school before, but it was something similar to this. But I think Andre's probably right. And I think the teacher left the room is why it was played for over a half hour before anybody did anything.
Yeah.
But anyway, SGR Red Wolf says Culture Casino phrasing. There you go. ActionCom says Chato. I think he means Chato. Have you heard of 5D optical data storage, aka Superman memory crystal? Do you think it might bring physical media back?
I have heard of it, and it's quite dense, but it's right now is being used for data, data center storage. It's never going to come. I don't think it's ever going to come to our physical world. Physical, as Steve Jobs predicted before he died, that physical media is dead. And for the most part, I think he's right.
Well, I disagree. It's not dead. It's being killed. Well, Steve Jobs wants it dead.
Yeah, he wanted it dead.
His needs, so he wants it dead.
Okay.
They want to kill it. That's the difference. It is not dead. It is not dead by consumer demand.
I'm not for it being dead. I'm not a dead physical media advocate. I just do not want. Please do not email me.
No. The only ones who are for it are assholes like Steve Jobs, and I have no qualms about calling him that. And same thing with Bill Gates. May he soon go the way of Jobs. They are the ones who want physical media to die, and they are the ones who will proclaim that it is dead. Meanwhile, it isn't.
Steve didn't want to pay Sony's license fee to be able to record onto Blu-ray.
Well, Gates was the one who tried to kill Blu-ray with introducing HDD or backing the HD DVD.
Yeah, the Toshiba one. Like that was the dumbest. That did not help.
All that was for was to try to kill physical media, Paul. That's all it was.
Yeah.
He didn't have any faith in HD DVD.
Oh no,
No, none at all.
I don't think so. Physical media was still a big deal back then, and he was using it. He was still using.
No. There were no advantages to HD DVD whatsoever.
No. It was a competing
only
format.
reason he
It was
did it-
Toshiba. Toshiba would make no money if they were killing physical media off.
No, Toshiba, they wanted to keep this.
They were just
Toshiba
pawns.
were the ones that had the DVD license, and the entire industry were going with Sony and Microsoft decided,
Correct.
you know what? We can kill physical media if we prolong the war by backing the losing side.
Well,
That
they
was their
certainly did that.
whole game.
You believe that was Microsoft's plan?
Yes.
Oh, I'm almost
100%.
positive. I actually have talked to people where they know that was what Microsoft.
Oh,
did.
there's
They
no
wanted to
belief.
push
That
streaming
was
a
the
lot
thing.
sooner and digital downloading. That's what they wanted.
Well, that
So the
certainly
whole
confused
goal-
the issue.
Yeah, and that's why there wasn't an actual HD DVD player in the first Xboxes. They had an add-on instead, and
They
that's
were never
possibly the
committed
only.
to it.
Yeah, they were
just
never really
wanted to
committed to it.
prolong it. They never believed in it. They were. I mean, if they really believed in it, that they would have used that for the full discs for the
Exactly.
Xbox. They never did that. They never believed it. It was just prolonging the format war and nothing else.
And it was a big fuck you to Sony.
Yeah.
Don't ever forget about that, because that was the whole thing. Was Blu-ray was Sony's baby. Because of all the formats before, they got killed with Betamax because they were dumbasses and wouldn't license out, the format for real cheap, and the VHS killed them there. And they were in on DVD, but they didn't get to profit off of DVD like they wanted to. So when they introduced Blu-ray, which was the superior format, they weren't letting that go. They were going to make sure the industry had to pay them, right? and Xbox, being that that's their main competitor, they just wanted to kill them. That was what it was between that and just Bill would rather just get to digital downloading that much quicker. Is what he
That's
wanted.
an interesting hypothesis.
Toshiba was just
a
basically
hypothesis.
pawns.
It's a hypothesis that even Microsoft insiders have come out later anonymously and said, "Yeah, that's what we were doing."
Interesting.
Yeah.
I have no reason to doubt that.
I mean, I don't have any evidence to back it up, but I've talked to more than enough people who are pretty sure that was the case.
Including some, I've even spoken to people in Microsoft that have said flat out, "Yeah, that's what we were doing. We were never genuine about HD DVD. That was just to further an ulterior motive."
Well, and there's another reason behind it, because remember the PS2, the big thing that it had was a DVD drive.
Yeah.
And that really hurt Xbox.
Yeah. And again, if they had been serious, they would have made the Xbox native with HD DVD rather than a shitty add-on they could discontinue overnight, which is what they did. Like the moment it was over, it was a flick of the switch, and it was just gone from Microsoft.
Interesting.
Yeah, well, just think about it. Their
Well, it
exit
makes
strategy was overnight. Whereas for everyone else that had invested in it, they had all the packaging, they had all the manufacturing equipment. Microsoft had none of that. All their investment, that was like that was the add-on, which they discontinued overnight. It was mostly words and nothing else. So they could just roll back, flick of a switch, and it was out. That was their exit strategy.
Interesting.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mikey is
What's not
talking
hypothesis?
nonsense and must be drinking again, because he's sitting here saying that Zack Snyder is better than digital. Even I know that Zack Snyder is not better than digital audio. Waddle T Snuts says, "Piglet, have you ever felt fuzzy down there? I'm fuzzy everywhere."
Well, that certainly would help it being shown in schools these days, but I do not think that this is in Winnie the Pooh blood. Maybe there is another educational film made specifically for schools that is Winnie the Winnie the Pooh, the blood and the fuss down there, which is made for schools. Who knows these days?
I think the better title would be Winnie the Pooh and the Blustery Cluster of Hair.
Yeah, indeed.
Down there. Tommy Review says, "Hail Midnight's Edge. I posted in the Facebook group that Umbrella Entertainment, and I sent this to Andre as well, has the Super Mario Brothers movie in 4K. It's $100, but it comes with a lot of stuff in the script, like the script. Actually, with shipping and everything, considering you got to translate it from Australian, it's actually closer to like 130. But yeah, I made the plunge, Andre. Are you going to?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Again, I've said I will support physical media, and $100 for that glory of a Super Mario the movie, the 1990 version book. Hell yeah, absolutely.
There's
I'm-
also
that thing
a
is
smaller
mine.
version for like half that, but yeah,
Yeah, but I don't want it. I want the collectible.
of course we do. Plus, it comes with an
Yeah.
extra disc.
Exactly. We want that disc. We need that disc.
I
And
love
then-
that. It's
yeah.
delicious.
And John Evan Bear says for $5 Canadian, when I was a teenager, I showed the DVD of Spawn season 1 in the whole school just to be edgy, and they broadcast it. LOL. Oh, that's nice. That was a very
Nice.
cool series. Early HBO series right there. Very cool.
See, I was the guy that always used to get them to talk them into watching movies in school, even if they were like borderline PG-13 and stuff, because I'd find some educational value in them
Yeah.
somehow, like Jurassic
And then-
Park.
And Jack Hudson has been a member for 30 months. And then our final super chat of the day, ActionCom says for $10. I was in a middle school geography class and they were playing a documentary about Antarctica. The cameraman zoomed over to a wall where there was a bunch of centerfolds. Big laughs all around. Oh, you should have seen the educational videos that we got in Europe. That would be something else, but I guess that's called.
Well, I can only imagine considering your primetime television, for fuck's sake.
I was
Yeah,
one of
absolutely.
the AV guys in our grade school and high school. So I got out of classes because I get an announcement over the PA. Paul Chato, would you go to Mrs. Edwards' class and please thread into the Bell and Howell 16 millimeter projector the dangers of venereal disease.
Yeah.
And get out of class, go up to the AV room, slowly take the Bell and Howell 16 millimeter projector into the classroom, take my time. I could get out of maybe 15 minutes of a 1 hour class.
And you get quite the education while you're at it too.
Well,
That's
I
why
didn't
you're such
stick
the
around for
ladies'
the
man.
video.
But no, you know what, Paul, you just made me think of something. That might be one of the reasons why the generations afterwards don't have a respect for film that previous ones do, because we never had to deal with it. Like by the time I was in school, it was all on like U-matic tape, and then finally moved up to VHS tape. Like we never did anything on the film. We never got the film reels like you guys did.
Yeah.
Oh, I got the film reels. We even
No,
had the
we
ones
didn't.
where you had the beep, the tone, and you had to turn the dial to switch to the next film because it wasn't a proper slideshow. It was actually a proper banding of film, and it would be locked from one slot to another. It was crazy. It was old National Geographic stuff.
Yeah.
Like very early on, there was something similar that maybe it's like a similar thing, like early on, like film strip things, but like I don't remember much after that. After that, it was all video. And I never got to work with film. Never, not once, not even in school afterwards. Because
Oh,
by then
wow.
everything was going digital. Yeah,
In
I
high
always
school,
felt
we
left
had-
out of that. Yeah, we never
high
got
school,
film in
we
high
had
school
old
either.
school. We had old school film development and cutting stations, and then we had across the way. Once you graduated from that, you go to the VHS cutting station. So it's it's like 3 VHS tapes or 3 VCRs essentially. You throw in your tapes to create a master. All that type of stuff. We had all of that in our high school. We went through
Sadly,
generations.
we did not.
Yeah.
Well, sadly, that is a thing in the past, and that is what this stream also is about to be. So with that, I would like to thank all you panelists. It's been a pleasure to have you all here, especially Culture, since we so rarely have you here on Fridays. Culture, what do you have coming, and where can people find you?
Well, today I have a interview with my post-flight show, which shows up after the Friday Night Tight show, or as it's ending. Today I'm actually interviewing my editor, Mr. Grant Gregory, who has over 100,000 subscribers on YouTube, much like Mr. Chato over there. And after that, got several videos worth of scripts to put together, because boy, do we have more dismal Disney news on the way. So do check that out. And check out, obviously, my website, beachpunk.us, where you can get your very own Che White t-shirt, amongst others. Celebrate Snow
very
White with Che White. There you go.
And Paul, what can people check out from your channel, and where can people find you?
I sent up another I'm in a car video. That's starting to become a popular, repeatable piece for me. And they're fun to do. Hard to write, harder to write than you might think. But so anyways, I'm trying to launch I'm in a car as an ongoing, maybe merchandisable thing. So that's it.
I got an idea for your videos.
Monday, yeah, send it my way. So Monday, I'm driving down to Mexican Iron Man's place. We'll be there on Tuesday, and we'll see, when we can hook up and do a stream from there. Maybe I'll do some videos on the road again.
Yes. Basically, you got an odd couple situation. You and your son.
Oh my God, we are an odd couple. we are an odd couple. So we'll see you. Hopefully, I can join you one of the days. But it's also my time off. So
And Script, where can people find you, and what should they be checking out?
Well, you can find me on Twitter X. You can also check out my Patreon, where I'm doing reviews and giving writing notes and breakdowns of screenplays and whatnot. And you can also see my YouTube channel. I talked about the limited information that came out of the SAG-AFTRA strike yesterday, as well as promoting today is the final day for Island in the Stars. It's 95% funded. People have been donating since we started this morning, so they only need around $2,800 left to hit their target goal. So if you are hungry for traditional science fiction with a little bit of romance, a true connection between parents and children, as well as fantastic wonder and action adventure, this does answer all of those
with an Australian theme.
Oh, with a very deep and fun Australian theme.
That's right. That's where men are men and women are men.
Yeah, indeed. And to learn more about the project, if you head on over to Midnight's Edge Live Archives, the most recent clip to be uploaded there before we get to the clips of today is the interview we had with Tom Konkle, the maker of Island in the Stars. So go check that out, and then go support the project now while you still can.
And I have put my mouth where my money is. What? And you should too.
Yeah, brilliant. And Darius Münchhausen sent us a super sticker. So everyone, please smash that like on the way out the door. And with that, it is time for some koalas in the rain.
Koalas in the rain. Koalas in the rain. No fucks given. Koalas in the rain.